it is very important to realize that we are dealing with the country which is currently going through enormous challenges. It's fighting the war, fighting the Russian aggression, involved in a serious reconstruction efforts, dealing with European integration, and trying to finish political, social, and economic reforms, which unfortunately Ukraine was prevented from doing over the last 30 years because of, to a large extent, Russian political interference. And the big picture is that there is a growing public support for fully functioning democracy in Ukraine. Our recent survey showed that 94% of Ukrainians would like to see Ukraine as a fully functioning democracy. Ukraine has achieved a lot, went through a number of revolutions, Maidans, Orange Revolution 2004, Revolution of Dignity in 2014. So we are really dealing with the country which has democratic elections, pluralistic legislature, multi-party system, strong civil society. So when you compare Ukraine to other countries in the region, Ukraine is not only fighting Russian aggression, but it's still trying to maintain its position as a champion of political democratic reforms. What we are trying to do is we're trying to support those key democratic institutions, such as political parties, parliament. We are working with a number of political parties. Political pluralism is one of the Ukraine's most substantial strengths. Ukraine made enormous progress in terms of gender equality. We've seen positive developments. The current parliament and Solomia is best example of a very strong women leadership in the parliament and amazing women leaders. We've seen an increase from 12% to 21%. Yes, I am concerned, we are concerned how to make sure to protect those gains. War has a huge impact on women councillors on the local level, and we hope that we will continue with this progress, making sure that there is a consensus on key political reforms, cross-faction cooperation, that Parliament is maintained as a key democratic institution during the wartime. Because, as I said earlier, we are also seeing centralization of power when it comes to presidential administration. On one hand, it is a natural process during the war. On another hand, we all hope it's only limited to wartime, and we will see the system decompressing and going back to strong parliament, strong, accountable democratic institutions. I remain optimistic because, one of the things which makes Ukraine unique is a very strong citizens' engagement. I've worked in more than 50 countries, and I can tell you civil society in Ukraine is among one of the most powerful. They are full of energy, full of ideas. And one of the lessons learned is that, all those reforms, reconstruction needs to be done in an inclusive way with a strong participation of civil society. European integration will not succeed if government does not learn from civil society on some of those key reforms. And all those major political reforms need to happen with strong citizens' engagement. This also applies to anti-corruption reforms. We are involved, we work very closely with civil society on anti-oligarchic legislation. There are some concerns that the current law is far from being perfect, and oligarchs traditionally in Ukraine being a very damaging players undermining Ukrainian democracy. But we should keep in mind that many of those cases were initiated by Russia. Oligarchs were supported and in de facto, provided with political powers from Russia. We should not forget about Russian disinformation. It's still a very powerful enemy. Russia is using active disinformation. There are different narratives which Russia is using. This is something where I think we can definitely exchange experience with South Korea. When it comes to anti-corruption reforms, making sure that there is a healthy balance and separation between business and politics. Again, many lessons learned which we can learn from South Korea. But we should also make sure that this victory is democratic, that in addition to reconstruction efforts, in addition to winning this war, we also have to protect Ukrainian democracy. And South Korea is seen, and we all know South Korea as one of the democratic champions, and your assistance and support would be very much welcomed.